Hey, my friend, take a breath. No, not one of those shallow breaths we take just to get through the day. I mean a real one, like you're letting oxygen into a place inside of you that's been shut for a long, long time. Because this isn't just another video. This isn't just another message. You didn't just end up here by accident. You were summoned, and you can feel it, can't you? That strange warmth in your chest. That subtle hum right beneath your ribs, that's not anxiety. That's not just some passing emotion, that's recognition. Something ancient, something divine, is knocking, not from outside, but from within, and this. This is the moment you answer. Let me say something that might sound strange at first, but let it sink in. I have stored myself inside of you. Don't just hear that. Let it land, not in your head, in your bones, because that sentence isn't symbolic, it's not poetry, it's a reality. An event. God didn't shout that from the heavens, He didn't carve it into stone tablets, He whispered it, right into the softest part of your becoming, right where the real you could hear it. See, for years, maybe your whole life, you've been chasing signs, looking for confirmation in numbers on clocks, messages in clouds, sermons, psalms, begging the universe, the sky, heaven itself to show you something, but the truth is, you weren't waiting on God, God was waiting on you. Waiting for you to stop searching out there. And start remembering what's always been in here. You thought the ache meant something was wrong, you thought the silence meant you were being punished, you thought the pressure was proof that you weren't enough. But here's what most people never tell you, silence is sacred, it's where God seals things, where He hides the anointing, not in the stars, not in a crowd, not in applause, but in you, deep, untouchable, sacred parts of you. That's why lately rooms feel too small. Conversations that used to comfort you now feel empty, tears come out of nowhere and from somewhere you can't explain, because something that's been locked up inside you, is finally being called by name, and not the labels others gave you, not empath, not healer, not light worker. Those are echoes of what they see, but this is the origin sound, this is the voice that knows who you really are. You are not becoming powerful, you're remembering that you've always been the vessel, and that's why your body feels strange lately. Like you're shifting dimensions, why your senses are heightened, why sleep feels like ceremony, and stillness feels like language. Something hidden is waking up. Not softly, not gently, but deliberately, because God didn't put Himself inside of you to make you comfortable, He did it to make you dangerous to darkness, to let your presence interrupt toxic cycles, to let your words heal places therapy never touched, to let even your silence dismantle spiritual noise. You're not here to do something. You're here to become something the world hasn't seen yet. And that's why this moment matters, because you're finally still enough to hear it. Finally open enough to receive it, finally brave enough to release it. Yes, you've been called too sensitive, too much, too different. But what others labeled as too much, was actually sacred compression. A whole kingdom folded into your soul, waiting, yearning, buzzing just beneath your ability to function. So no wonder you're tired, you've been carrying something holy, something alive, that was never meant to stay dormant, and now it's leaking out, not in sermons or speeches, but in the way you breathe, the way you look at people, the way your presence shifts the energy in a room, because when God stores Himself in someone, He doesn't need you to prove it. He lets your existence become the confirmation. So let me say this clearly, you are not just someone with potential, you are someone with a pattern coded into your being, and that pattern is being unlocked. That's why your nervous system can't tolerate fake environments anymore, why your body aches for depth, why you've been crying in places that seem fine on the outside but feel off inside. You've been mistaking spiritual labor for burnout, but this isn't exhaustion, this is emergence, this isn't fatigue, it's the weight of something holy stretching itself awake inside you, and the reason the world feels blurry, distant, surreal lately, you're no longer orbiting it. You're remembering that you're the axis. That might sound wild, but it's not ego, it's divine recollection. You were always chosen, you were always the vessel, and this, right now, is not the time to question your path, this is the moment to become it, because what God stored in you, was never just for survival, it was for strategy. He put the seed of solution in your skin, and the world is finally dry enough to need it. So don't shrink, don't second guess, don't ask for permission, just breathe. Again, now, let's talk about the fire, not the one people notice, not the kind that gets applause or recognition. I'm talking about the quiet fire, the one that lives underneath your skin. The one that pulses like a second heartbeat. You've called it anxiety, you've blamed yourself for being too intense, too emotional, too much. You've wondered if maybe something's just off with you, but it's not brokenness, it's not dysfunction, it's voltage. You've been hosting something divine, and your human container is still adjusting to its frequency. That discomfort you feel, it's not a sign something's wrong, that it's divine data, trying to move through old, outdated systems. That's why you've been pulling away lately, not because you're cold, not because you don't care, but because something deep inside you realized, some rooms are just too small for the sentence you're carrying. That's why your relationships have started to shift. You're not looking for casual connection anymore, because convenience can't hold someone who's built for consequence. And when God stores himself inside of you, he doesn't just hand you insight, he gives you impact, and impact doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always come with validation, it comes with adjustment. It rearranges what you thought you needed, it dismantles what you used to chase, it rewrites the script of your desires, it makes you allergic to anything not aligned. You've probably noticed. You can't fake it anymore, you can't pretend to be interested in things that used to entertain you, you can't sit through shallow conversations, you can't perform anymore, you can't play along with spiritual theatrics that sound right but feel wrong, because you've seen too much now, you've felt too deeply. You've lost too many versions of yourself trying to fit into places that only celebrated what was manageable. But here's the truth. You weren't created to be managed, you were made to move things. That's why the silence lasted so long. That it wasn't punishment, it was protection. It was God muting the noise around you so you'd finally be forced to hear what's always been within you. And now you're hearing it, that subtle vibration. That inner frequency you used to dismiss, that soft, powerful sound that never quite made sense in church or therapy or journaling. It's the hidden chamber, the place trauma never touched, the part of you that didn't fracture when everything else broke. That's where he stored himself. And now that chamber is opening. You've been mistaking the symptoms, the trembling, the dreams, the sudden waves of clarity followed by emotional collapse. You thought you were breaking, falling apart, losing it, but this is what awakening actually looks like when it's not polished and romanticized. It's not all sunlight and butterflies, it's messy, it's lonely, it's blinding, and it is sacred, because he didn't store a sermon inside of you, he stored strategy, not a platform, a pattern, not a performance, a pulse, and that pulse, it's syncing now with something moving in the unseen. There's a rhythm behind reality, and you're starting to walk in step with it. You're not just waking up, you're aligning. And alignment always comes with loss. You're going to outgrow spaces that once felt like home. You'll love people deeply but realize you can't walk with them anymore. You'll look back and miss versions of yourself, versions that were easier to carry, but too small to fulfill the call. Let it go, all of it. Let the image collapse, let the plan burn, because your anointing was never meant to serve your ego. It's here to serve a generation, and this generation, they're not looking for perfection, they're looking for real, for raw, for someone willing to bleed and still bless. That's you. You are not the clean, tidy answer, you are the raw revelation. You are not the polished brand, you are the oil-soaked voice that doesn't flinch when the truth costs everything, and it will cost everything. The version of you that needed to be liked, gone, the one who needed to be understood by everyone, buried, the you who waited for permission to speak, now speaks with authority, because you remember the scroll, you remember the whisper. You remember who you are. When God said, I have stored myself inside of you, he wasn't trying to flatter you, he was calling you out. That you're not here to debate it, you're here to demonstrate it, and demonstration comes with discomfort. Your comfort zone can't carry this new mantle, your old language won't fit this new version of you. So stop trying to explain yourself, stop asking people with small minds to understand sacred blueprints. They weren't given the map, you were, so walk it. Even when it feels wild, even when it hurts, even when you want to quit, walk it anyway, because ease is not your assignment, embodiment is. And you, my friend, you are now stepping into an authority that doesn't make sense on paper. It's not built on credentials. It's not validated by likes or followers, it's felt.